Another highly anticipated 76ers season is underway, and our guest has been covering this franchise for some 25 years now. Let's bring her on. It is, of course, Dei Lynam. Hey, Dee, is that accurate? Wasn't it 25 years ago this month that Comcast Sportsnet debuted and you officially began covering the Sixers?
That is true. I think it was October 1st, 1997. So yeah, that is accurate. Yep.
Well, happy silver anniversary as a Sixers reporter then. All right, one game in the books, an opening night 9-point loss to those hated Boston Celtics. Did we learn anything about this Sixers team and all the new faces from that one game yet?
Well, I mean, I think, I had somebody say to me, we're 3 hours into the NBA regular season that lasts 82 regular season games, so let's not overreact. I mean, I think the one thing people will be very positive about is James Harden looked incredibly healthy and looked like the Harden that we thought you got from the Rockets. So I think that was a positive. Joel's numbers ended up being fine, 26 and 15, I believe, but he didn't shoot the ball well. He had 6 turnovers. I didn't think he looked particularly sharp defensively for them to give up the points that they gave when they, set out saying they were going to be they think they will be a top 5, top 7 defensive team. And maybe part of that is the newcomers. I think Doc is still going to be kind of playing with his rotations. I know that he feels strongly out of the gate of having 2 of his top 4. And we know who they are in Embiid, Harden, Harris, and Maxey, 2 of them on the court at all times, and then figuring out who those other 3 are. There was one stretch at the end of the first quarter that he did not do that, but that was just to get through the final 35 seconds so that nobody picked up a silly foul. So, they have 2 tough opponents to start the season, right? They'll come right back at home against the Bucks. And we'll see if we see some things that are a little different than what we saw last night.
As you mentioned, there are lots of new additions on the roster this year, including P.J. Tucker, plus reserves DeAnthony Melton, Montrezl Harrell, and Daniel House. None was a major contributor in the opening night loss, just 6 points for Tucker, not a whole lot from the bench guys. Is it going to take a few games or a few weeks for these guys to get fully acclimated?
Yeah, I think part of it is because you don't know Doc's rotations. I mean, you can do that in practice and try to figure out who's with whom on the court. So I think part of that is true. I feel strongly that this team has good depth. I think the depth is actually greater than a year ago. I do think, and I hope, that I know guys like to know their role, but if we say depth is there, it's not just for injury, right? And if something isn't working on a given night for a given matchup, then I'm not talking about just yanking a guy. That's not what I'm saying. But I think if you have that depth, you could try something. So like a Matisse Thybulle, we know he has not shown to be an offensive contributor. We do know he can play defense, and he's made, second team all defense 2 years in a row. He played less than a minute, and there were perimeter guys that were lighting up the Sixers. And I don't know exactly where he stands. Is it because of his offense? Is it something else? But a guy like him, a guy like Paul Reed, I think there were opportunities that either one of them in a spurt could have helped them.
Tyrese Maxey has gotten just better and better since his arrival with the Sixers. He more than doubled his scoring in his second season compared to his rookie year. Should we expect Maxey to take another leap this year in his 3rd year in the league?
Well, I think you can expect that there are 3 first options. I should say Embiid would be your first option. If that is, being taken away, Harden is probably your second. If not Maxey, I'll go 1A, 1B there, depending, because Harden can be such a great distributor, and I don't want to take that away from his game. But I think that you see that they have moved Tobias Harris to be the 4th option, and that is because Maxey has shown to be such a dynamic player, dynamic scorer. He has some unique talents. And so I would say, yes, I think you will see that his game has grown yet again. He's a tireless worker. So, I know his final preseason game, he was 2 for 10, and somebody said, should we be concerned? And Doc Rivers was like, no, you don't have to be concerned. This guy sees the ball go through the hoop so often because that's how often he's working. So, yeah, I think he continues to progress. I do.
Keeping Joel Embiid healthy, of course, is a must for the Sixers to have a successful season and a deep playoff run. Do you worry about him, hitting the floor so often? He's in his prime right now, and does he still have more upside, and can we keep him healthy?
Well, first of all, yeah, I don't like how often he hits the floor. It's funny, in one of my classes today, somebody said, did anybody see how often Anthony Davis hit the floor last night as well? I said, no, I was asleep by then. But yeah, I think his falling to the ground is definitely concerning. Not so much. I mean, part of it is the injury, but the other is like, why is this still happening? Right?
Yeah.
Like have a wider base, have a stronger sense of your balance. So yeah, I don't like it at all. Can we keep him healthy? We could do all we want in the regular season. And quite frankly, last year, with the exception of those, I think he was out. It was at least 9 games that were COVID related. Might have even been higher, Chet. And so his actual injury in the regular season was minimal. And then, the weird postseason injuries happen. So we can do all we want for 82 games. And I say this to people all the time, whether it's his health or however good they are in the regular season, the trepidation fans will have going into the postseason with this group, no matter what they accomplish in the regular season or how healthy he stays, they won't have a real secure sense because it just doesn't happen, hasn't happened yet. So until you show us differently, how can we feel any different?
I hear you. All right. So last year, the Heat were the top seed in the East. The Celtics, of course, made it to the NBA Finals. The Bucks and Giannis still pretty good. And there's that team up in Brooklyn that may or may not be very good this year. We shall see. As I post the NBA championship odds that I just saw the other day, these are from Caesars. How do you see the Eastern Conference playing out this year? I mean, there could be 4 or 5 teams really competing for the top seed.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the day I look, they do it by plus 1,400, plus 6. Boston was plus 600 as of yesterday to win the title. The Sixers were plus 1,400 when I was doing some of my writing. There's a lot of teams that are clustered in there. The one other, Cleveland certainly thinks that they got better, and Atlanta certainly thinks that they should have a redemption year. Because last year was a little disappointing for them, and they added DeJounte Murray, and Cleveland feels like they were really good before they got injuries, and they added Donovan Mitchell. So we talk about those top 4, and I think those top 4 are good teams, the Sixers included. But I think the Eastern Conference is actually there. You just can't say, I'm going in and write that off as a W. And that's not even including like a Detroit. Used to put that as a W all the time. They got better. So the Eastern Conference is much, much, much more competitive than maybe some of the recent years past.
You want to make a prediction? How many wins for the Sixers and what seed?
I hear a lot of like mid-50s. I think because of the competition, I'm going to go around 50, to be honest with you. I do think they can win 50 games, though. And if you win 50, I think somebody else is going to have more than that, or you're pounding each other. So, I think they can be a top 3 seed, and it'll come down to tiebreakers, in my opinion. That's, and this is all said, barring no injury to any of these high-level teams, including yourselves. Yeah.
Yep.
So I would say, and I wouldn't have a problem. Look, they've been the number 1 seed, and that didn't work out very well for them. They've been a 4, they've been a 3. So I would say if you're anywhere in the top 4, I'm okay with that, because you got to win games and you got to advance.
Hey, Dee, now that you're on 97.5 every weekend, you talk about all Philly sports, of course. We have the Phillies in the NLCS as we speak. The Eagles are unbeaten. It's a lot of fun being a Philadelphia sports fan and talk show host right now, isn't it?
It certainly is. you don't hurt for calls, that's for sure, no matter what shift you're working. There's a tremendous amount of enthusiasm, and quite frankly, the product. Like watching these Phillies games, the product is so good.
Mm-hmm.
There's an endearing quality to the group that Thompson has put together there, and how what they have done to this point in the postseason. Obviously, we know you need the pitching. Wheeler and Nola have done that. Their bullpen. How about the years that we talked about how horrific the bullpen was, and now you have nothing like that to say. Their bats have come together at a time. Look, it wasn't that long ago we were talking about when is Schwarber. I think he was 1 for 20 when this series started, and then he hits bombs away in game 1. So they're amazing. I think the Jalen Hurts' progress from last year to this, I have no questions when you go into a game about his decision making. They're a really solid team. End to end at both sides of the ball. Maybe their special teams you could question, but yeah, it's great to watch. The Flyers, good God.
No figure.
Tortorella's like saying, look at me, people. Like, give me some credit here. Everybody said we were going to be horrible. So I would absolutely agree with you. And, the Sixers, they're going to be fine. That's not, the season opener. Boston had a lot to prove also. They've gone through a lot of tumultuous times leading into this regular season. Coming off an appearance in the finals. Yeah, Ime being suspended, losing Gallinari, Robert Williams III, first team all defense, sidelined for maybe 2-3 months. So I think they had a chip on their shoulder to show people, like, don't write us off just because we've gone through some tough times. So I think the Sixers will be fine.
Dei Lynam, this is always fun. I will see you at FanFest at Xfinity Live on the 29th of October. Looking forward to that. And we'll talk to you again in a few months. Go Sixers.
Thank you for always inviting me. I appreciate it.